One of the most exciting things about the Neo Egoist League was definitely the fallen hero Kunigami. I mean, just seeing our favorite musclehead getting out of the wildcard training looking beefy and all was enough to send shivers down my spine. What is this new form of his? What happened to him in that training? Will he still be a kind-hearted, or will he develop a new ego? But most importantly, what will his story with Shido moving forward be like? I mean, besides the Kaiser vs Isagi rivalry, this way we also get an insane second rivalry. A rivalry to feed generations. Or so we thought. To call Kunigami post the wildcard training a disappointment will be an understatement for me. I mean, he was fine in the Barsha game, but he really did not shine or anything, and actually was saved by Isagi. And then in the Manshine City game, he actually scored an insane goal, and also did a lot of duels that he won. However, overall he was not that impressive, especially after seeing Kaiser and Isagi and them flying with their Metavision, or Chigiri's speed, or Nagi's broken goal. He just did not shine, to be honest, and he even got shadowed by Yuki. And also, for some reason, he developed this new hyena personality, where he doesn't really accept passes, nor does he give them. But at the same time, he was fine stealing other players' goals. However, at that time, if we thought this was bad, things only went south come the Ubers game. I mean, the guy did nothing against Ubers, except for one save against Baro. He got completely shafted by Aryu, he dominated him in the air and with his reach. And so, all of his weapons got killed off, and because he plays alone like an idiot, he had no option to do anything in that game. And a lot of people actually lost hope in him. A lot of people did videos on him being a disappointment or a fraud, but can you really blame them? And here's the kicker. Come the PXG game, it seemed that this will be continuing, especially after seeing Ego Jinpachi telling him to lose, well, his ego, and Kunigami will go down history as just a wasted potential. But, thank God things turned around. It seemed like Noah and Ego actually had a backup plan for Kunigami. In case he failed at following Noah's footsteps, they had a different route for him. Otherwise, wouldn't he just be wasted? Well, as I said, thank God this was not the case, as it seemed that his ego got reawakened when Kunigami got his last chance. The last chance of locking down the most dangerous striker in PXG. Will Kunigami actually redeem himself? That was the question. Will Kunigami be able to stop the demon? And well, much to my heart's content, Kunigami did not just stop Shido, he actually completely dominated him, especially in the air. I mean, we've seen before that Kunigami is really dominant in the air. However, against Shido it was such a one-sided battle that it was actually an insane feat on its own. Charles, being the insane midfielder that he is, kept feeding Shido passes after passes. However, and because of Kunigami, Shido was not able to score, and honestly, if he didn't stop him, it would have been 3-0. This is how big of a deal this feat of Kunigami is. And to be honest, it's kind of a feat to Aryu. Being able to stop Kunigami that completely dominated Shido definitely is an insane feat for Aryu. However, this was not all, as in this game the writer did something that he never done before, which is actually split in ego. Before we only knew egoists. For example, Baro, Kaiser, Ren, Shido, they're all egoists. However, in this game, we actually got introduced to not 2 types, not 3, but actually 4 types of ego separated into 2 groups. And hell, the 2 groups can overlap with each other. This actually explained a lot of the players' behaviors, because depending on where they fall in the chart, they behave differently to different situations. For example, we learned that Kunigami is an individualistic type of ego, which means much like Shido, he gets his ecstasy from achieving goals that are only valuable to himself. Unlike for example Isagi or Ryo that aim to achieve goals that are recognized worldwide. Furthermore, Kunigami falls under the restraint type of ego, which means he shines in restraint. He shines when his options are limited. And so this actually explains his whole persona in the Neo Egoist League. Because he was a restrained type of a player, he never really wanted anyone else's help. Rather, he shined in tight corners, like we've seen him do in the Manshine City game. However, and I'm gonna call it here, it was total BS what happened in the Ubers game, as that was the perfect environment for Kunigami, yet he did nothing. So yeah, from Kunigami's perspective, that whole game was total BS. But anyways, this also means that Kunigami's current performance is very dependent on his rivalry with Shido. You see, because defeating and destroying Shido means everything to Kunigami right now, he is not just pulling his A game, but rather his double-S game. And I'm not going to lie, this kinda shows the brilliance of Noah and Ego. If they have foreseen this to happen and they had this second route to Kunigami, then this is just brilliant. And you might be asking yourself, wait, did they just had a backup plan for him to lock down Shido? That doesn't seem like a rational, consistent thing for Kunigami to follow. I mean, not every team will have Shido. Well, not quite. Remember that Ego's motive is not just to breed the best striker in the world, but also to win the World Cups. And to do that, he needs to build a team. Take for example Aiku, Aryu and Nico, three of which started as strikers and now they are so dominant as defenders. And so what they have for Kunigami is actually something that the writer wants to teach us. You could think of it as another lesson from Blue Lock. And hey, you already know me, I love these lessons. And so what is this lesson? What is this bigger picture that we are not seeing? Well, to answer that, we are actually going to do something that I have never done on this channel, which is comparing Kunigami to a real life player. Yes, we are going to reveal the real life counterpart to Kunigami. And so the mystery player is actually the French striker Oliver Giroud. Well, if you have seen the 2018 World Cups, you'd know exactly why Kunigami fits perfectly here, especially after the PSG game, and I think this totally saved Kunigami. You see, let me present it to you like this so you can understand. Oliver Giroud is actually a striker, and he played in every game in that World Cups. But get this, he scored none, he scored 0. But how come? How come a striker for the team that actually won the World Cups not score and still be in every starting lineup? Not just that, but actually play full game every game. Well, that's what we call a reinforcement striker. He kinda acts like the hero of any team's attack. He's not really there to score. Well, he could score, but that's not his main objective, as what he does is actually reinforce the attack and load it with firepower to actually dominate the other team. However, and here's where the comparison is drawn from, he always sacrifices himself and his positioning so the team has a better chance at scoring. We've seen this so much done from Giroud in the World Cups, and another player that would be a perfect example here would be Müller from the German team. Now think about it this way, both Kaiser and Isigi required the help of Kunigami so they can build their perfect attack. In fact, Isigi had no answer to Shido except for Kunigami. And that's exactly what happened in the World Cups. We've seen multiple times how Giroud offered both Mbappe and Griezmann chances to score. And I really felt like he was the leader of the attack force. Even though for example Mbappe and Griezmann shined more, he felt like he was the heart. He was the guy that was the anchor for both strikers to dominate and to shine. And think about it, this way Kunigami would go from a lone wolf to an actual pack leader. And that's just brilliant. As I stated in many of my videos before, especially in his matchup with Shido, that I hate his lone wolf mentality. Football is not like tennis where it is 1v1. Football is a team's game. Even players with the biggest egos like Baro or Kaiser, for the very least accept passes even though they want to score themselves. And so Kunigami evolving from a lone wolf to a pack leader is the perfect evolution for me, and I'm really loving it. But hold on, I said there is a lesson to be learned here, and so what is that? Well, it's actually a compound lesson that is composed of two parts. First is finding purpose in staying true to yourself. Think about it, Kunigami started shining and started dominating and found this new path after getting his revenge chance against Shido. You see, his whole hero and kind-heartedness was just weakness. In fact, as Isigi realized, Kunigami has always been passionate about football. Kunigami always wanted to score, Kunigami always wanted to shine. However, for some reason he clouded himself with the whole true hero persona. And so when he got his last chance against Shido, it was now or never to drop that stupid mentality and follow your heart. However, that's only half of the equation. Well, yes, Kunigami is passionate about football. However, he said that he always wanted to be a hero, and he might have confused that with being soft or kind-hearted. By becoming the heart of the attack force, he becomes the hero, he becomes the guy that takes the fall. However, he does it all while shining, all while dominating, all while staying true to himself. And that's the second part to this. You see, there is nothing wrong with modifying the path you walk on to reach your ideal desire. Kunigami might not be the hero that scores in every game. However, he will be the hero of the team. He will be the hero of Japan. I believe this is so beautiful. He found a new way to become the hero. The first Kunigami was just an idealistic idiot, exactly how Shido described him. However, this new Kunigami is a dominant hero. He is the new All Might of the attack force. And also there is kind of a part 3 lesson into this. Well, as I said, Kunigami had to shed his idealistic hero persona, and then he kinda became an anti-hero. However, that was not really him. He is a hero after all. He just needed to drop the idealistic bullshit. And this kinda reminds me of what Baro did in the second selection. Baro completely threw this path in order for a new path to shine. And even though Kunigami took longer to achieve this and went through hell for this, it is actually far more satisfying. And man, it made you respect this character a lot and made me respect the writer even more. But anyways, the moral of the story, there is nothing wrong in following your ideal. There is nothing wrong in wanting to achieve something, even if it sounds as stupid as being a superhero. However, you need to be realistic, not idealistic. The previous Kunigami was just an idiot. However, the current Kunigami is just an amazing player, is just an amazing hero. And so he kind of achieved his motives. But also, since now Kunigami dropped his lone wolf mentality and is playing with Kaiser and Isagi, I can finally judge his matchup with Shido perfectly. And I mean, if you read in the series, you already know, Kunigami is actually better than Shido. I mean, the guy dominated him completely. Now, whether Shido will break out, that remains to be seen. However, for now, I stand corrected on my video and I say Kunigami is better than Shido. With this, ladies and gentlemen, we reach the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed and please let me know what do you think of Kunigami's evolution. But until next time, thank you for watching